Today on the Bandrew Says podcast, we are going to be talking about PewDiePie quitting YouTube. Oh my god! Not really. I wanted to see how it felt to be as insanely disingenuous as all of these news media outlets. So go ahead and stick around. Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome back to episode 196 of the BSP. My name Bandrew. This is what I say. Like always, in the show notes, there are timestamps of everything that I talk about, so you can skip around and save a few minutes. But if you got the time, listen to the entire episode. Different versions of the show, audio and video, bandrewsays.com. Other amazing, even better educational podcasts, geeksrising.com. Let's start with PewDiePie quitting YouTube. A week or so ago, at the end of one of PewDiePie's videos, he said, "I am going to be taking a little bit of a break at the beginning of 2020 because I have been uploading for 10 years, almost every day. I want a vacation because even when I have been on vacation, I have vlogged and made YouTube videos." He is taking a legitimate break, which seems like a reasonable thing to do. And what he said was so clear and to the point and unopen to interpretation that it seemed impossible for it to be framed disingenuously. But over the next couple of days, there were a crazy number of articles with the headline and the title saying something along the lines of, "PewDiePie is quitting YouTube! PewDiePie's quitting YouTube!" And then they would contradict themselves in the body of the article, where they would have to backtrack immediately and say, well, he's not actually quitting YouTube, but we got you to click though. He's just taking a break, which makes perfect sense. I must say, it makes perfect sense wanting to take a vacation. But with that being said, I should also point out how incredibly brave I think Felix is for quitting YouTube. I thought that was something only normal people did, where they quit their job every December so they could have a few days off around Christmas. Then when that stint of quitting elapses, they go back and beg for their job back. Because that's quitting. Vacation equals quitting? I don't know. According to these news media outlets, these high-quality outlets, absolutely. Taking a vacation is synonymous with quitting your job. So I wish somebody would have told my boss that I quit when I took a day off last year for Christmas. What a weird world we're living in. He then had to come back a few days later and clarify in dumbed-down terms that he is not quitting. When a YouTuber says, "I am going to be taking a break for a little bit so I don't have to make videos," that does not mean they are quitting. He had to make a second video because these outlets are so insane. They just are so desperate for clicks that they will, in the title, in the headline, make it so disingenuous that within the first paragraph, they have to backtrack and say, well, we got you here making you think that he was quitting, but he's not really quitting. How about you say, PewDiePie is taking a break from YouTube? But people don't report when I take vacation from work, so why are they reporting that PewDiePie is taking a vacation from his job? It's insane to me. This is not newsworthy. How desperate are you for news that you just say, oh, you know what? Let's talk about somebody taking a vacation. Y'all are insane. You're insane. Be better. Be better, you scumbags. Next headline, next story. PewDiePie quit Twitter. Oh my god. But he's not really quitting Twitter. No, he actually did quit Twitter. He deleted his Twitter account after releasing a philosophical video where he talks, I don't even remember the philosopher that he talked about, but he deleted his Twitter and he said that there's just nothing in there for him. It's not valuable. He felt like he was wasting his time. I understand that. Cool. Good for you, Felix. I'm glad you are finding ways to better spend your time. I'm not deleting my Twitter. I love Twitter. I love Twitter because I don't follow anybody who is very contentious. There are some people, and if they get a bit too contentious and I don't want to unfollow them, Twitter has an amazing mute function. With that being said, I understand my experience on Twitter is not going to equal what somebody with a following of 20 million people on Twitter has, so I get it. Although I am kind of sad that the one tweet of mine Felix liked is no longer liked by PewDiePie. Oh my god. That's it for that YouTube news. Next, we have a YouTube applaud button. This is a new feature that I had never ever heard of, but I saw a tweet from Nick Nimmin, the Nimminati, Nick Nimmin, that said, "Do you have applaud activated on your channel? Say yes or no, please." And in this tweet, there's an image where directly next to the thumbs down button, which is beneath the video on YouTube, there is an applaud button. And this apparently lets you tip a creator. It's kind of like a super chat, but you don't have to be live. And out of the 100+ replies to Nick's tweet, I did not see anybody say yes. I do not know who has this feature on their channel. I have not come across it, and I watch a lot of YouTube, but I did go ahead and search through Google's help, and I found one article on it, and it says, "You may be able to buy viewer applause on participating creators' videos and show your support for YouTube channels. When you buy viewer applause, you're purchasing a one-time clapping animation that will only be shown to you over the top of the video. Viewer applause is currently only available for purchase on computers. It's also only available to viewers in Australia, Brazil, India, Japan, Korea, Mexico, New Zealand, and the USA." And that is all the information that is available for this. I will link a few things in the show notes if you want to follow any of this. First, I will link Nick Nimmin's tweet. You can follow the replies and see if anybody finally says, yeah, I have it. I will also link the Google support article where you can read a little bit more about this, and I will link a Reddit thread on the YTubers subreddit where they are trying to find any more information about this. But that is it for the news. Very slow news week. I was planning on maybe not even doing one this week, but I had to give you guys the answer. What have I been testing? Last week, you remember, I played two clips. The U87 running through a cheap interface and an expensive interface, and I asked you, do you know which one is which? Which is the expensive? Which one is the cheap one? And everyone in the comments said, interface 1 sounds better, so I am guessing that's what it is. One person said interface 1 sounds better, so I'm guessing interface 2 is the more expensive one because YouTube's compression screws everything up. Y'all got it right on the head. Interface 1 was the U87 running through the Universal Audio X8 direct into it, which is $2,800, I think. And clip 2, U87 through the Focusrite 2i2 3rd Gen. Very well done, everybody. Apparently you can hear a difference, and I heard a little bit of a difference as well. People on Discord, it was such a slight difference. It seemed negligible to most people. If you are releasing music at WAV, or if you're going high res, absolutely, you will get much more benefit out of the higher level preamps and interfaces. But if you're just doing YouTube or podcasts and down mixing to 128 kilobits per second stereo, you're fine with a $160 interface. Don't be crazy like me. I buy this crazy stuff because I review it. That's the only justification I have. If I was not reviewing stuff, I would probably still be using my Zoom U44, even though it's not good. It's not good. It's so noisy. That's it for what I've been testing. I hope you had fun with that. Great job, everyone. Let's jump to what you have to say. First comment comes from Beige Boy. He says, "Hey there, buddy. So I was wondering if you're hesitating to upload at 1st January. I am. Not sure if it's worth the chance to get sued. I watched PewDiePie talk about COPPA, but I mean he thinks only big YouTubers will get sued, but this is the government. They don't care who gets hurt from this, just like YouTube doesn't care. YouTube decided to save their own arse rather than help the people that made the site popular. I thought about going to Twitch, but I always preferred YouTube. Guessing I'll just focus on making music. Beige Boy, thank you very much for the comment. I personally am not concerned at all. On January 1st, that is when the new COPPA ruling goes into effect. And I know I don't make content that is directed towards kids, so I will be fine. If I was making gaming content, I would be a little bit more reluctant. But I think the majority of gaming creators, unless you say, hey there, little buddy. Hey there, little 5-year-old boy. You want to play some video games? Here's a little color game. What's this color? What's this color? Unless you have games that are explicitly made for children under the age of 13 and you're an old man playing those games trying to get that audience, I think you will be fine. Again, I need to make a disclaimer. I am not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. Don't listen to me. But I do believe that PewDiePie is likely right there. I don't think that the FTC is going to fine every single YouTube channel out there for $43,000, was it? I can't remember. It's been a while since I looked at it. But also, the FTC did say that it is not a flat fine of $44,000. It is a multiplier based on what you earned from that information. So if YouTube were to continue to collect data on your video and it was a video made for kids and you made $100, I don't know if the multiplier would be 10 times or if it would be a fraction of what you made. I'm guessing it would be a multiplier to make it an actual penalty. So I would say if you earned $100, maybe they would do a 10x and charge you $1,000. That's a guess. We don't know what the multiplier is, so we are just left in the dark. I don't think it would bankrupt everybody, though. That is information I wish they had put out as soon as it was announced. Hey, this isn't a flat fee fine. This is going to be a multiplier. Here's the multiplier. It would have assuaged a lot of concern. It would have put a lot of people's minds at ease. Next, as far as YouTube throwing us under the bus, they didn't really have a choice. They didn't have a choice. The FTC is a governmental agency, and they passed this legislation. Now, I don't know. I do not know what the negotiations were like when they were coming up with the settlement between YouTube and the FTC. Maybe YouTube did sell us all out, but I am not sure. I can't say that with certainty, so I am not going to say YouTube sold us out and screwed us all over, because this is the law in the United States. YouTube is a United States-based company. They have to follow that law. If they don't follow that law, everybody is screwed, because YouTube would go out of business. They would get shut down by the government. So I get it. I don't think they screwed us completely. But great comment, great question. I am not concerned. Yet. We'll see. Next comment comes from I don't want a channel, I'm just commenting. Imagine all the people who will get banned for making fun of flat earthers. I don't want a channel, I am just commenting. Interesting idea. I think you would be onto something if YouTube had not already banned all the flat earthers. Haven't they gotten rid of all of them? YouTube said, oh yeah, we are getting rid of channels that put out misinformation, and flat earthers and anti-vaxxers, all of them are gone. Or maybe they just took them out of the algorithm so they don't show up in search results, or they don't show up in recommended and up next. Not 100% sure there, but I'm pretty sure they're all gone. YouTube has pushed them all out by now. Great comment. Interesting stuff. Next comment comes from Gut Punch News. He says, I don't appreciate you doing my shtick on your channel. My whole show is about putting people off. How could anyone hate microphone reviews? I mean, sure, Cheryl should quit turning you into YouTube, but hey, you do make a lot of noise. Gut Punch News, quit bullying me. Quit bullying me. This is my channel, not yours. Oh, leave me alone. or I am going to tell your wife that you're being mean to me. That would not end well. What a low-life thing would that be? How low-life of a thing would that be? Me saying, I'm going to tell on you to your wife. She's going to yell at you for being mean. No, I enjoy sometimes pushing people's buttons, not for the sake of pushing people's buttons, but for the sake of sharing some deeply held or maybe just more controversial opinions that I have. I think that's perfectly fine, especially when we have a relationship, a community that's willing to push back and say, hey, Bandrew, you're an idiot. I like having that system of checks and balances here. You guys always call me out on my crap, and I appreciate that so much. Now, how could anybody hate microphone reviews? If I like a microphone they don't like, if they think they could do it better, if they don't like what I am doing, there are many reasons. If they just hate my personality, they could hate my review and think that it's out of my evil heart that I am making these videos. I don't know, but there are people who legitimately think that I am some kind of evil mastermind trying to manipulate people. I don't know. Take that what you will, man. I have no idea what the heck they believe. Last comment comes from Lywin. So if I call you a big bedwetting duty head, and it could be viewed as toxic or abusive when I'm just being a goof, and I'm sure from past interactions that you know it is for a laugh rather than being mean. ... I hope anyways. Let me cut in real quick. Lywin, absolutely. I know it's a joke and you're just poking fun. I like breaking people's balls, and I expect my balls to be broken as well. That's not an invitation to physically break my balls, please and thank you. I don't want that. You do not have permission to do that. Continuing with your comment. Does this also mean that by criticizing Cheryl, you could get demonetized, as it could be seen as an attack? It leaves a lot of room for errors that I can see. However, giving the creator a bit of control over what can and can't be seen in comments is promising. Also, I don't think you are a big bedwetting duty head, but I heard Cheryl does. Lywin, I am honestly not sure. Cheryl. I don't know if that would be considered some kind of harassment. Potentially. I can't imagine that this will be something that's implemented unless there are a bunch of flaggings that occur on that comment or on the video. At least that's how I would approach it if I were doing something like this. If I was implementing this type of policy, I would say, here are the set of rules that have to be followed, and the triggering point or the triggering event to look at a comment and analyze it against this set of criteria would be a bunch of flaggings coming in. If somebody says, this video is harassment, flag it. This video is demeaning, flag it. Abusive, flag it. Toxic, flag it. Then the algorithm would take over from there and say, okay, does it meet this criteria, or this criteria? Or send it to your human moderation team. Does it meet all of these criteria? Does this require an actual flag on, or a strike on your channel or not? That's how I would do it, but I am not running YouTube. We'll have to wait and see, and Cheryl is a big, fat, stupid, sweaty, stinky, ugly duty head. F you, Cheryl. F you. Let's jump to my favorite part of the show, the Ask Bandrew segment. All right, if you have any questions that you want to send in, you can do so by heading over to askbandrew.com. That will give you instructions on how to send in the email or where to send it in, how to send it in voice, and how to send in video clips. This week we have 2 voice submissions. The first one being from Crispy Teabag, the massive British legend who does have his own YouTube channel and his own podcast. I will link it in the show notes if you want to check it out. Take it away, Crispy.
Hello and good day to you, Bandrew. This is Crispy from the Discord server. Apologies if I'm sounding a bit grumbly, I'm not really feeling my best at the moment, but I wanted to ask you, if you could learn any other language apart from English, what one would it be? Thanks for your time.
Crispy, thank you very much for the question. I really had a lot of fun thinking about this and trying to decide which language I would learn, which would pay the best dividends, and which would be the most beneficial for me to learn 10 years down the road. You may be thinking, I was going to say Chinese because China's going to take over the world. I don't know. I did learn ASL in college. ASL is American Sign Language, and I absolutely loved it. It was so cool, and the deaf community is absolutely amazing with an absolutely beautiful culture unto itself. If you get a chance to take a sign language class, highly recommend it. It is amazing, and then you can have some kind of interaction with deaf people, and you don't have to just write on a pad of paper. You can show that you actually respect them, and you could talk to them. It was amazing. I loved it, but I have forgotten all of it because I haven't used it in years. ASL would be a fun one. I would love to relearn that. Spanish would also be very useful for me because a lot of my ex-girlfriends they've spoken Spanish, meaning when they get really mad at me, they yell at me in Spanish. It would have been helpful to know what they were screaming at me. Maybe the relationships would not have ended then, but I don't know Spanish. That would be really useful for me to know. Another great language would be Mandarin or Chinese or whatever the correct terminology for that is, because as I alluded to, China is going to take over the world. Maybe, we'll see. Japanese also would be amazing because their culture is just incredible and it would be really fun to go visit, but that's not what I'm picking. I am picking German. The reason is because German is spoken in Germany and Austria. Why would I care about Germany and Austria? AKG, Austrian Audio, Lewitt, Neumann, Sennheiser. All of these companies are at the top of the audio industry. Germany and Austria have this rich history of amazing manufacturing as well as technical expertise in audio. I would love to be able to go visit Germany and Austria, meet with the people who develop this stuff and work at these companies and be able to speak to them in their native language where they are much more easily able to communicate these more complicated ideas, and then find out what's in the water over here. How are there so many good microphones that come out of here? Oh, there's also Sheps. I believe they're a German company as well. What gives? I want to learn German so I can go over there and learn from all of them. And also visit Mozart's home. I love Mozart. Great question, Crispy. Next voice submission comes from Sean. Sean, take it away, good sir.
What's up, Bandrew? Hey, man, my name's Sean. Just wanted to reach out to you and ask you a couple quick questions. First one is, how do you go in and cut your audio out when you say a, quote, bad word, end quote, and add in that squeaker sound? I would love to do that. I think it's hilarious. Secondly, I may have made this up. It may be a Mandela effect kind of thing, but I swear I heard in another video or podcast that you said, or someone said about you, that you had another channel that was dedicated to like music production and stuff. I know you're into pop punk and punk rock and all that, and I'm in a punk rock band called The Last Dodo, and I would love to get our mixes better. Not trying to shamelessly plug myself. Sorry about that. Anyway, any help, any answers, much appreciated. And I appreciate for listening to my requests thing. Yeah. Thanks.
Alrighty, Sean, thank you so much for the voice submission. I really do appreciate you so dang much. You are an absolute legend. That's right, an absolute legend. And I recorded a quick demonstration of how I censor stuff out. I will include that right here so you can learn from how to do these things. All right, so here is a quick demonstration of how I would censor something out using that horn sound effect. I handle all of this in Final Cut Pro. It's not very effective, it's not very efficient, but it's what I do, and it leads to me not wanting to swear a lot because it means additional work. Here is a quick sample I recorded, and in case you're worried I don't actually swear, you don't have to cover your kids' ears or anything. Here's that sample. I will just go ahead and talk for a few seconds and add in a few expletives for me to edit out. Aw, fudge. Right there, we got a fudge there. Let's pretend that is a different F word. So I will zoom into my timeline so I can get granular. I will go frame by frame to start to hear the word. Right here, you can hear that I am saying the F. And when you are censoring out a swear word, I like to leave a little bit of the first syllable so people understand what you're saying, but you aren't actually saying it. Then I will scroll. You can hear, and now I am at the end of the word. It's silent. I will cut on both sides of that, and then I will just zero out that section of the video. So I am taking the audio level from 7 dB down to 0 or negative infinity. It is muting that section of the file. Now if I play it out. Off. I hate. It's completely dead silent there. Nothing is happening. Here I will drop in a bicycle horn, and let's hear how that sounds. Edit out. Off. That's not long enough, so I could slow this down in Final Cut Pro to try to make it last the entire fudge, but that doesn't seem to work really well once you get down to slowing it down to 50% or more. I will go ahead and we have a longer one with the truck horn. That second time where they really lay on the horn, that may be long enough, and I think that'll be kind of funny. Let us go ahead, and the first one might actually be long enough. The first one is not long enough. We will go with the second one. No, the second one is too long. So I will go ahead and cut this just so I have the first horn honking. The horn honking. And I could probably slow this down by 10% or 5%. I will change the speed to 95%, and that makes it almost perfect length for this. And here is how the clip sounds once it is censored. Edit out. Off. I hate when I fudge it. And that is how I do it. As I mentioned, this is not efficient, not the best way to do it, but it's how I do it. I hope that helps. Let me know in the comments or send in another voice submission or an email or anything and let me know if you need clarification on anything. As far as where I get the sounds, I thought I mentioned that in the video. I don't think I did. They're built into Final Cut Pro. There's a sound effect library in Final Cut that I just pull from, and it just so happened to have some horns that I liked the sound of, and that's what I landed on. The next question is, what is my music production channel? This isn't necessarily a Mandela effect. This is just maybe me being unclear. In the past, I have referenced a music channel that I have, but it is not music production. It is me playing guitar and bass and playing songs that I wrote. It is Bandrew Plays. You can just search that, one word, it'll pop up. I've done some covers of punk songs on bass and guitar, played some metal songs that I wrote. That's all that's there. I don't have any music production channel. I would recommend a channel In the Mix. In the Mix is an amazing, well-presented channel about improving your mixes and how to do stuff properly in a DAW. I believe he uses FL Studio, I think. I don't know. But there you have it. I hope that helps. Sean, thank you so much. Crispy, thank you so much. And that is actually going to wrap up for this week's episode. A little bit shorter, but I wanted to still do an episode even though there was slow news. I don't have a criteria or a curriculum for creator finance yet. And I wanted to wish you all a happy Christmas. Happy Christmas if you celebrate that. If not, happy Hanukkah. If not that, happy holidays. If not that, happy winter. But that excludes everybody in the southern hemisphere. If not happy winter, happy summer. Happy summer. I haven't forgotten about any of you. I hope everybody out there has an amazing rest of December, rest of the year, and a happy new year. But I'll be back next week, and we will do the whole year recap and year analysis, year review, and see how badly I did at everything, because I failed at everything. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening. I will talk to you next time. Bye.
This has been a Geeks Rising production. Your executive producer is Bandrew Scott. For more information, head over to www.geeksrising.com.